Dealing with video starts and stops while watching. 2 common causes and 3 possible solutions. Hi everyone, I'm Leo Notenboom for askleo.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, go hit that like button if this video gives you value. It helps other people searching on YouTube for answers to their questions to find the answers to their questions. Here's today's question. I would like to view YouTube videos without all the stops and starts while watching. What causes that, and can it be corrected? Absolutely, it can be very, very frustrating. And it's not just YouTube, it's almost any streaming service or video service that you might be using. The problem is either of, I'll say, 2 general things. The most common is, unfortunately, your internet connection. Your internet connection limits how quickly data can make it from the streaming service to your computer. Depending on what kind of video you're looking at, how high the resolution is, how many frames per second there are, all that kind of stuff, all the magic that normally you really don't care about, it can actually take more bandwidth than your internet connection has in order to play a video without all the starts and stops. Now, this plays in a couple of different ways, because not only is it your internet speed, honestly, it's the speed of the internet at the device you're looking to watch the video on. Other devices on your home network that might also be trying to do something, I'll just say big on the internet, be it watching another video or downloading a large file, well, they're eating away at your internet speed as well. So it absolutely can be a case where there are other devices in your network that are causing your internet connection to effectively be too slow to watch a video without the starts and stops. The number 2 reason is actually local to your computer, and that's actually pretty straightforward. Your computer's just too busy. Watching video can place a relatively high load on your computer's CPU. It can also place a relatively high load on your GPU, depending on a bunch of things that we don't necessarily need to cover here. The important thing, the most common thing to look for are the other programs that are running on your device, and see if you can't shut them down. Especially if you find one that's using a lot of the CPU, see if that's not something you can turn off or wait until it's done or do something so that you're watching the video while the computer is doing fewer other things in the background at the same time. Now, number 1 solution. Let's go ahead and switch over to one of the images from the article on which this video is taken. I've got an image here of a YouTube video screen. It's actually a little bit older than current, but the concepts still apply. There are 3 segments on a video progress bar. As you can see at the beginning, we've got the amount of the video that's been seen. That's this line here, up to the playhead, the point that shows you where in the video you actually are. Now, if you look carefully at the progress bar, you'll see that there's this red at the beginning for the amount we've seen. There's this gray, but then there's this darker gray or black. That demarcation right there between the video that's been downloaded but that you haven't seen yet and the video that hasn't been downloaded is important. As long as this point is ahead of the current point, usually by a significant distance, then you're doing okay. Your internet connection is not the problem. You're able to download the information fast enough to play. On the other hand, if you never see this segment, if it's always a difference between what you've seen and what's not yet downloaded, that means that the data is probably not arriving fast enough. Your internet connection is either too slow or there are other things competing for your internet bandwidth from your local network. Now, I'm using YouTube here as an example. Not all services, especially streaming services, don't necessarily have this demarcation between these 3 segments. What you've seen, what's been downloaded, and what hasn't been downloaded. But this is a great way you can use YouTube as a way to gauge your current abilities. In other words, you can use this YouTube video as an experiment to see just where these lines show up on your machine, and other videos will probably suffer from the same behavior depending on, again, the characteristics of that video. Now, what can you do? Well, the number one thing to do is pause. In other words, by pausing, you're allowing the segment that hasn't yet been seen to continue to be downloaded while you wait. That's excellent. Now, the problem here, of course, is that video services often try to outsmart us. When you pause something, they don't want to download something you're not going to watch. So they won't download the whole video. If you pause something and walk away, you'll find that even the download stops at some point. It will still have a not yet downloaded point no matter how long you wait. Exactly how much is downloaded will vary depending on the service, the video. For all I know, it varies depending on the time of day and what other characteristics the video service wants to use. But certainly it is something that you can experiment with and simply try pausing the video for a while to see if that makes the starts and stops go away, at least for a few minutes. The number two thing you can do is reduce the demand. As you may or may not know, video can come in many different qualities. YouTube exposes this quite nicely if you take a look at the gear icon on any YouTube video player. They often make the video available in several different resolutions. Higher resolution requires higher bandwidth. It requires higher speeds. One of the things you can do is to use this control to select a lower resolution and see if that makes your problems go away. There may be a visual difference. Things may not look as crisp as a higher resolution, but they may play more smoothly if, in fact, it's a bandwidth issue to begin with. YouTube and other video players try to do an intelligent job of choosing the right resolution for the bandwidth you happen to be experiencing when you connect. But if that changes, or if they guess wrong, this is still something you might consider adjusting manually. Solution number three, of course, is to download the video. That's not always an option. Download and streaming are two different things. They both copy the video from the server, the video service, to your computer. But in a true download, you're downloading a file that you would watch later. It doesn't matter that a 5-minute video might take an hour to download because you're going to watch it only after the download completes. Streaming, on the other hand, means that you're watching the video as it downloads. That is highly dependent on your internet speed. Now, YouTube doesn't have this as an option. In fact, I believe it's against their terms of service to download a YouTube video. Even though if you search for a YouTube downloader, you may find several. Be careful if you do this. And I say that because many of them have pups, some of them are malware, and they do change from time to time simply because YouTube does play kind of a game of whack-a-mole to prevent them from working. But for YouTube, it's not technically an option. For other video services, it depends. Some of them are absolutely streaming only and there is no option to download. Some of them are downloadable if you know what to ask for, if you know where to look, or in some cases, if you pay a higher premium for the service. But those are the three options. You can pause the video, you can reduce the video quality, or you can download the video. Hopefully, one of those three solutions will get you a smoother experience watching, well, this video. If it has, hit that like button. If it hasn't, well, we'll have to look for something else. For comments, for updates, for links related to this article, you can visit the article that I was showing you at askleo.com/2981. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.